Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Black Ops 2 character analysis. And trying to stay consistent with this series, we only got this character, which is Russman. We're going to be talking about Russman today. And then we have the next one, which is going to be Stuhlinger, which he's also a very important character in Black Ops 2, so I figured I'd kind of save the best for last, if that makes sense. But yeah, as I said, we're going to be talking about Russman today, and he's also a decently important character. He has a lot of mystery to his story. Like, mostly his entire background is like, they don't know a lot about him. And we're just going to get straight into it here. All my info from the COD Wiki, you guys know what it is. So Russman is a playable character in the Zombies game mode. His name is revealed as Russman in-game by various quotes and also in the credits. However, as seen in the buried intro, he does not manage to remember his full name. I don't know why I said it like that. In Call of Duty Black Ops 2, he appears as a playable character in the maps Transit, Die Rise, and Buried, where he joins forces with the rest of the Victus crew. Russman with the Victus crew takes central part in Zombies comics, which we're not really going to be talking about everything, just his part in Black Ops 2 and his role. Now, this isn't necessarily a segment I talk about in all the character analysis. I think for the most part, it is always a segment on the wiki article, but I don't usually talk about it because sometimes it's just, I don't really find it to be important. But for this, I figured it's just kind of a bonus. So his appearance, I don't usually talk about the character's appearance. But his appearance is of an elderly African-American man with a white hair, wearing a brown trench coat and jeans. He also wears a boot on one foot and a sneaker on the other, giving him the appearance of a homeless man. Before I found out his name when I first started playing Black Ops 2, I was used to call him like a hobo because, he does look like a little bit like a hobo. I think that's what everybody called him, like when Black Ops 2 first came out, like a hobo. I don't know, but, and here's the part where I find really interesting, the part of his story. Russman was formerly a Broken Arrow agent before the outbreak of zombies at the Shanghai facility, which was either mistakenly or intentionally caused by members of Broken Arrow, possibly Russman himself. During his tenure at Broken Arrow, he and George Barkley traveled to Camp Edward and transferred a sample of the entity trapped within the APD to a site in Hanford, Washington. I don't know if it's Washington State or Washington, D.C. I'm pretty sure it's Washington State. The outbreak at the Shanghai facility was connected to a larger global zombie pandemic that followed Richtofen's grand scheme. Around the time of the incident, he became homeless and began to travel around the world. At some point, he met Samuel J. Stuhlinger, and two traveled together. Russman also commandeered a bus, which was driven by a robotic driver, to a town in Washington where Stuhlinger met Marlon Johnson and Abigail Misty Brierton, which we have talked about both of them before. It was here that the four survivors were contacted by Dr. Ludwig Maxis, which directed them into activating the pylon tower located here, which acted as a polarization device, I'm pretty sure that's how you say that. At the same time, Stuhlinger also heard a voice of Edward Richtofen in his head telling him to activate the tower in his own method for unknown purposes. After activating the tower, the group was teleported by Richtofen to a skyscraper in Shanghai. Russman managed to save Stuhlinger, who was taking Richtofen at a time from the horde of zombies. However, he was tackled by a jumping jack and was ripped in half. The other three were killed soon after as well. However, Richtofen then somehow revived them, though they have no memory of being killed. In order for them to carry out his task, once again, Maxis and Richtofen continued to give the four survivors instructions on activating the second polarization device. After the task was done, the group traveled on foot towards Africa, and they set up camp in the desert, planning on what to do next. The day after, the survivors proceeded to quote the rift, and ended up in an underground western town buried. He, Maxis, and Richtofen continued to give up the survivors' instructions to activate the third tower, and warn them of the others' plans. In the end, their allegiance shapes what happens to them next. Canonically, the group follows Maxis' instructions. I don't know why I don't know how to say certain words here. It's pretty basically canonically. I don't know. I just read it wrong, so excuse me for that. I do that from time to time. And then anyways, they survive his endgame, however, and in the Call of Duty Zombies comic, which we're not really going to get too much into. I guess we'll just get a little bit into it here, though. They are returned to the surface by the way of teleportation, beginning a new journey to assist Primus Richtofen in acquiring the chronono. This would lead to them being chronologically frozen in Richtofen's lab underneath Alcatraz. Primus Richtofen intended to collect their blood for his insurance policy, as we have talked about before. Now, as always, we are going to go over like a past few character analysis we've had. At least for Black Ops 2, we've had the canon ending and the non-canon ending, which we go over. So this is the canon ending. The player decides to follow Maxis' side of all three Easter eggs. Maxis assumes control of the zombies, giving them orange eyes in the process. Sends Richtofen's soul into a single zombie which has blue eyes. However, Maxis then reveals his true intentions of destroying the Earth to reach Argathia, and informs the survivors that he will perish along the way. He, along with the rest of the Victus crew, would be awakened beneath by Alcatraz by Ultimus, now undead Richtofen, and sent to Siberia, where Victus would be tasked with constructing the Argathian device. After the device was completed, sent to Nikolai Belinsky, it was used to banish to the multiverse after a dark ether along with Victus. And then in the non-canon ending, if the player decides to follow Richtofen's side of all 3 Easter eggs, Richtofen enters Samuel's body and uses him as a physical host on Earth, with his eyes now flickering blue. Maxis, meanwhile, is banished by Richtofen from the systems of Griffin Station for good. Russman's corpse is seen on Round Infinity, indicating that he was killed by the zombies. He, along with the rest of Victus, would be awakened beneath Alcatraz by Ultimus, now undead Richtofen, and sent to Siberia, where Victus would be tasked with constructing the Argathian device. After the device was completed and sent to Nikolai Belinsky, it was used to banish the multiverse to the Dark Ether along with Victus. So pretty much it's just like a matter of whether you follow like the canon and the non-canon endings. It's pretty much a matter of whether you follow Richtofen's 3 Easter eggs or Maxis' 3 Easter eggs. For the most part, the Maxis Easter eggs are the canon ones, and the Richtofen ones are the non-canon ones, pretty much. It just all depends on really what you want to do when you decide to do the Easter egg. And then we don't usually get into this a whole bunch. It's just certain things, you know, sometimes I'll spice it up a little bit, like with things I don't usually get into, like with the articles. So personality, Russman seems to despise Marlton greatly, which is a mutual contempt. He polites Samuel and often gives him support, though Russman occasionally calls out to him when ammunition runs dry. Russman likewise doesn't seem to have much respect for Misty, although they knew each other before the outbreak started. He is a very spiritual person, as he believes in the mystery box to be the work of the devil, often calling it a devil box in anger. While conversely, he believes the pack-a-punch machine to be the work of an angel, calling it angel machine. He is pessimistically grumpy a lot of the time, suffers from memory loss on occasion, and sometimes refers to himself in the third person. Russman also appears to be fond of explosives, particularly the war machine, which is actually funny because in my opinion that is the worst weapon that you could possibly get in Black Ops 2. However, Russman holds a high disdain for sniper rifles. Likely it is because of his hate for Marlton, who is very fond of sniper rifles, or perhaps the fact of explosive launching weapons are incredibly different from sniper rifles. As well, he has liking for some pistols, particularly the 5.7 and the Remington New Model Army, which is slightly similar to Samuel Sullinger, who also favors the 5.7. And that's pretty much it for Russman's character analysis. I know it was more or less of a shorter one. The past few character analysis have been short. So pretty much we're just going to wrap up Black Ops 2 as a whole, then we're going to get to the next character analysis. So we pretty much did all the campaign characters and everything I really plan to do for Black Ops 2 after we do Stanley Sullinger. I was planning on doing like some DLC characters, like pretty much the only other DLC characters are Mom of the Dead characters. I was going to do that, but I decided not to, just because I didn't really felt very too interesting. So after the next episode of the character analysis, we're going to move on to a new game. It should be pretty interesting. Like I said, I have so much games. This character analysis series has been going for a while. I have so many games I'm going to talk about, and I'm probably going to move on from the Black Ops series for a while. Now, I am going to come back to the Black Ops series. Not necessarily Black Ops 1 and 2, but like probably like, it's not even Black Ops anyway, it's more or less the Call of Duty series, like COD Ghosts, like Modern Warfare 2 maybe, but that'll be further along the line. We'll come back to the Call of Duty series, I should say. I'll make the next character analysis a good one, but we still got one more to go. But with that being said, make sure to subscribe for more content, like video, all good stuff, Discord, Twitch, Instagram, links in the description. Discord is still up. If you haven't watched it already, just with the situation about the Discord, if you didn't get it, I uploaded it almost a week ago, just pretty much explaining the deal with the Discord. Yes, it is still up and running, and it will be the link in the description, like I said. That's pretty much it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.